Today, Precarious plays
Fire Emblem!
What do you want to talk about first? You wanted to talk about buildings, and I wanted to talk about potentially undermining systems in a game for the sake of convenience.
Well,
Conveniencing probably too few people, providing convenience to too few people to warrant the changes to a system that people are making.
yeah, I think the whole point that I was saying about the buildings is that, like, walking through an actual building like this that has hallways big enough for horses and things like that
Yeah.
is just really impressive. And I feel like if I were in an enemy castle and if I was a singular thief, like a big fucking bag of shit and, like, just my own 2 feet to carry me through the hallways, I'd start getting spooked. Especially thinking about, like, what he must be hearing. Like, on the way there.
You've been to real castles before, right? Or forts?
Yeah.
Any sort of fortified structure?
Yeah, I've been to 2 major cathedrals, and I think I did go to a fort. It was like a castle, but it was like a rinky-dink castle. It was not like a well-upkept castle.
I have not been to any of those. I think the most grand, fantastical structures I've been to are all museums or science centers.
Mm-hmm. Which are, you know, cool.
Yeah.
Like, similarly, you get a similar feeling. I also get that feeling. It's sort of a combination of being, like, humbled and also impressed by your own species at the same time.
Mm-hmm. I like recreating museum spaces and warehouse spaces in crafting buildy type games.
Yeah.
Like Minecraft and Starbound and stuff. Like, it was a little thing, right? It was not a big deal. It's one of the larger things I've made in Starbound for sure. Mm-hmm. But it was far from the most complicated or visually impressive.
Right.
At least, like, on paper, right? But one of the things that I love most that I've made in Starbound was an Indiana Jones style, like, warehouse.
You showed me that. That was really cool.
But the building itself wasn't. I just got like 1 million of, like, the most basic brick, right? Whoa,
son.
I didn't remember the little twing.
Elliewood is so cool. Elliewood says you're cool.
Yeah, let's see
and
if
the warehouse was cool.
his level up.
Oh, that was beautiful.
That level up matched his coolness output. I'm glad that he managed to ride that cool wave all the way to the station, you know? You don't surf to a station. I don't know what I was talking about.
Maybe Pokemon you surf.
Here. No, just let me take another swing at that and try and make some sense of it. He managed to ride that cool wave all the way back to shore. God.
There you go.
Or he managed to ride the cool train to the station. Jeez. I messed it up twice.
Who's the support with? Do you think it's Lynn?
It's probably Lynn. If you press the button, you still have to confirm again. So if you tilt to the right, it could be you can have support with more than one. Okay, so no, press B.
Just wait.
They might wind up talking to one another. We'll talk about it after the show. Because we may just decide that we don't care about the other two, and it's just like whoever is fun to talk to, you know?
Oh yeah, but I love that feeling. I like going into big crazy places. Oh, the Air and Space Museum?
Yes.
And seeing the space shuttle?
The structure was just red brick with some wood. I normally get pretty detailed, so it did have, like, I'll dig a couple blocks into the ground and I'll stick like a foundation. Like I fake a foundation, right? Whenever I do a lot of buildings, I'll add details like that. I normally do like two tiles of thickness, which is less of an investment in Starbound because Starbound is 2D. It's like Terraria in that regard. So having like the left and right edges and the top and the bottom, the ceiling and the floor be 2 tiles thick, it's not like Minecraft where if you want to go 2 blocks thick, you have to wrap a whole building, right?
Yeah.
So it was just this big warehouse with skylights, and I put up, like I cut holes out of the walls and then put like girders in. Again, I know that this sounds like a lot of different blocks, but I already had them from adventuring. And it was this easily repeated pattern that I would repeat every like 12 blocks, right?
Right.
It probably took me like 40 minutes, which might sound like a long time, but it was like several hundred blocks wide. Like the crazy warehouse from Indiana Jones, the Indiana Jones series. Because it shows up a couple of times. And then I just started filling it with stuff. Just
like anytime you would find something.
Yeah, it was like a catalog of objects. Thinking about it now, there would be an interesting function to that facility in multiplayer. Because you can scan items. I think you have to scan items to be able to 3D print them. So it would be kind of cool going to an establishment like that and just scanning like hundreds of different objects, right?
Right.
But that's what it was. And I played it up a little bit because some of the things, sort of arbitrarily, I decided like, oh, well, this object is clearly too big to fit in this box. So I'm gonna put it out. I'm gonna like set this sarcophagus out in the warehouse instead of putting it in a box.
Yeah, so you made up a little bit of a mythology of why storage decisions were made so that you could make it look cool.
Yeah, and there were boxes of all different kinds and sizes and shapes, and they were all just put one of the Cavaliers next to one another. So there were like cool stacks of boxes with crates on them, and I would have like rare treasures in the treasure boxes and have more mundane items in the crates. And it just developed very organically over the course of play. And anytime I found more cool stuff, I would just knock down the left wall and repeat those blocks and just
be like,
add more stuff.
Let's make this bigger.
Yeah, and the only problem is that was way, way, way early in development when it was still in early access. And because of some of the changes that have been made to the game, I don't know if I'd have the passion to do it again now that the full game is out. But I still have the memory of it, and it was a lot of fun. And I love just recreating that, like a space of that scale. Kind of like in Space Engineers, I've been slowly trying to make large grid ships. Because I've played it for like 300 hours, but I've never really designed large grid ships. I've only designed small ones. Anytime I've made a large grid ship, it's been something that I've found one to start and then added on to, or it's just been something sort of
never
ugly.
Done like ground up, or if you have, it's just basically been like, oh, I need a box to put my stuff in.
Yeah, like completely utilitarian. It's like, I'm gonna make a wall that's 60 by 60 drills so I can just eat entire asteroids. Just ugly, ugly things, you know? That knight could still probably attack her.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see how much damage he would do because
okay.
she's got to park behind.
You didn't happen to kill that guy in one turn last time, did you?
Yeah, I did.
You should check to make sure that he doesn't have a ranged weapon that is just his offhand weapon. Like he might have it.
He has one javelin.
Wait, go check him? Because no, the other one. Sorry. Okay,
He has
sorry,
one
yeah.
steel lance, yeah.
I thought that maybe if you killed the general in one turn, it would be a very nasty surprise if he was like, I've got a ranged weapon after all, dick! Haha!
Yeah, no, that's not what happened.
Eat my throwing spear! Another thing I wanted to talk about very quickly, because I think that this map is starting to wind down.
Yay, Hector.
Well, that's another very nice level up.
Yes,
His resistance is a little low, but he'll probably be he might wind up being a strong candidate for, like, I think it's amulets that increase magic resistance. So, I've noticed an upsetting trend in Nintendo products where they will take established systems that might be seen as an inconvenience and they just rip them out of new titles.
Just because they're like, ugh, people won't put up with it, so we're just not even gonna try to make it better.
Yeah. Or this might intimidate a new player. Let's just take it out completely.
That's gonna be depressing.
For example, one of my big problems with Fire Emblem Fates was the removal of weapon durability.
I'm Bernard, Knight Commander of Laos. I have a big mustache. I will test the might of those who bested Bok.
Pretty mighty. Give me another taste. I'm just gonna stand over here, though. You keep serving it up, I'll keep, I don't know, eating it. Yeah. Hit me with the javelin already. Yeah, I'm weird like that. I'm into some pretty freaky stuff.
You were saying?
Nothing like a big man hitting me with a hand axe and then a small girl hitting me with a javelin.
I was trying to get you to continue, but yeah, I mean, elaborate.
If only you had
Silver sword.
If only you had a pretty boy that could shoot me with lightning. Oh, good! You've got one of those too!
Boy, Matthew has really cleaned up today. Good job, buddy.
Yeah, the hero crest I think can go to Raven one day. And the knight crest will go to Kent or Sane.
I don't know if Lucius is gonna get a swing at anybody.
Yeah. You handled those knights more quickly than I imagined you would. I don't know why.
Hector and Spears.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, I misspoke. I don't know why I thought that it was going to take longer than it did.
Ah, yes.
So in Fate's Conquest, they took weapon durability out of the game. It's just gone. And it is upsetting because I think, and I may have said this before, but it is upsetting because I think if they had given a base level of equipment that had infinite durability, effectively like the iron weapons, right? And maybe you could upgrade it. Maybe you could upgrade your character's base equipment in the game. And that's another way that you can improve your characters, improve your army. You could have the base level of equipment be improved to steel or something, right? And those could have infinite durability, and that would be like the basic attack, right? It would be something that was always available to your characters. I think that they should have kept weapon durability in for all of the other stuff, but then drastically reduced the number of charges, and then just have them refresh automatically every battle. So you have the silver sword that drastically improves your accuracy and your damage output, right? But you can only use it Everything should probably be multiples of 2, just to make sure that it doubles well, like it fits into the doubling mechanic. So it should be like 6. You can only use it 6. That might be too generous, right?
Right.
They'd have to fucking playtest it with all of their money and resources. That's the thing that really bothers me about companies that are big just ripping shit out, because they can afford to not do that.
Yeah.
But sometimes they don't.
They're just like, no, we just won't do this.
So Javelin, for example. Javelin still has charges, but it only has like 8.
Mm-hmm.
You have a ranged attack that you can do like 8 times, and then after you're out for that battle unless you have like another set. And maybe to compensate for that, they reduce the number of items that you have that you can carry total pretty significantly, but then your core equipment, which would probably be like 1 or 2 items for your character.
Mm-hmm.
Probably typically matching their weapon proficiencies.
Mm-hmm.
Those don't count against your limit, right?
Right.
So let's just say you have 1 slot which would be dedicated to an item, either something that you can equip or something that's a consumable. You have 1 slot that they just grace you with supreme flexibility, and it can be any one thing. And then you have 1 other slot which is for an alternate special weapon. So like a javelin, or like one of the brave weapons, or one of the killer weapons. And then maybe, like, there's just so much potential, right?
Right.
Like, my mind is just buzzing with all of these things that they could have done that would have been cool with a system like this. Because, for example, it could help further distinguish various classes. Maybe mercenaries, for example, maybe one of their class features, as it were, is that because they're only proficient with swords, one of the things that they get is an additional weapon slot, and they can carry an additional sword, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe knights.
Oh.
What? Oh, wow.
That's okay. I'll just have Florina soak up all of that instead.
Okay.
I am heavily disappointed.
I'm really surprised by that. Like, I don't know. Can you check his stats? The boss? I don't know why his resistance would be... Wow, his
10.
resistance isn't that high. It's really weird. Lucius is usually pretty
Lucius
great.
is only level 9, though. Everybody else on this map is like...
I'm willing to blame it on lightning probably being a little wimpy. Lightning might be a little underpowered compared to the weapons everyone else is wielding.
Yeah, you're right. Rebecca can only hit because she has a steel bow.
Oh, and only for 1 at a time. I haven't been paying
as
attention.
soon as she levels up, though, which will happen, probably now.
Yeah.
It's gonna go to 2, probably.
No, not quite. It's still a pretty alright level up. You see, because we're not sure if we're going to use Raven and Lucius.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we don't, we can then give the limited number of stat boosting items to a smaller number of characters.
Yeah, and I'm really trying to like milk this experience right now.
Sort of even out Rebecca and Florina.
Yeah, because if they get ahead,
you should probably end this so that way it doesn't hurt your grade overly much. What? She already leveled up. Stop it. Just kill him.
All right. You're right.
Because you're driving up 2 different aspects of your grade right now. You're driving up, I think, like the overall turn count, and I think you're also... I'm sorry, driving down. You're driving down your grade based on overall turn count and also specific battles.
Okay.
The longer you fight and it isn't decisive, the worse your score.
Okay, well, I'm going to use Rebecca once, Florina once, and then have Hector kill.
No, you didn't listen to the second thing I said. It's not just about turn count. God. Why don't you listen to me, Mom?
All right, 9 times 2 is 66% chance.
It'll probably work. Yay!
Whoop whoop. This is just a reward for Laus's brutality. Aww.
Cool partying with you guys.
Wow, Hector is
bye.
now the buff. He's my highest level character now.
I think that you might be entering Hector's cooldown period.
Where we have to...
You didn't move Elliewood. You didn't move Elliewood. You know, you can't capture the thing. Strategy gods.
I just didn't think I was gonna do
Have
it.
pity on her soul.
I'm sorry, I didn't. You said I thought I still had time. There's no excuse. I don't care. I'm just gonna wait.
Can he move far enough to get on the throne the next turn? I don't know if he can.
Mercy, here.
You're just gonna let me handle it?
Yes,
Okay.
because because I'm so sorry. Well, let's face it, you move through the menus with a speed that is just like nearly muscle memory.
I don't think that. This is the worst. Guess what? The only person that could probably pick up Elliewood is Raven, and these guys can't take the Kaelin Soldier, and they can't pick up and drop Elliewood, so it's still gonna take another turn! This sucks.
Does this not count?
No, you have to seize the throne.
Oh my god. It's seized. Ass on it. It's done. I healed. See, I'm here. It's been seized.
That was awful. That was a lame way to end. Yeah. Okay. Oh, sorry. I wanted to. This is important. I forgot to wrap up what I was talking about, and the thought won't survive to a whole new recording session. In the most recent generation of Pokemon, in Pokemon Sun and Moon, they yanked out the HM system. So all of the movement abilities, the traversal stuff like Strength and Surf, those are all gone, and they're replaced with like mounts that you meet in your travels that aren't actually your Pokemon.
Oh. So like taxis?
Yeah, it's like a taxi Charizard and a taxi Lapras.
I mean, okay.
Well, I mean, there was something special about being like Blastoise, who I've known since my first minute of adventure. Let's go surfing now.
I had I think a ferret that did that shit for me.
Yeah.
And it's just this idea of this tiny little ferret just going with like everybody like strapped to its back by some tow lines, maybe on water skis, and the ferret's like.
Or Pidgey. Pidgey is my favorite flying.
Yeah, because it's actually the size of a fucking pigeon, isn't it? Basically.
It's like the size of like a slightly deflated basketball. Yeah. It's
okay,
tiny.
so maybe chicken size.
And I just wanted to say that I think that was stupid. I think that the way they could have fixed it and added something to possibly added like a quality of life improvement to competitive battling. They could have given Pokemon 6 moves total, but you can only have 4. You can only carry 4 into battle with you, right? So during the main game, you can use those 2 extra moves for HMs, which are still on. They're still available to use in the field. You don't have to do anything special. And you just drag and drop with the 3DS stylus to prepare the moves that you want to take into battle. People have figured out much more complicated shit in a Pokemon game, is what I'm saying. And they could have fixed the HM thing and kept them in and still had like the this is my Pokemon and we are flying over the countryside and we're having a good time together. They could have kept that in, and they didn't. It's sad.
Yeah.
Well.